Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cherry Pickers Podcast, the show for all things hockey, featuring your hosts, Zuu and Bee Rhodes.
Bee Rhodes, we have a trade to announce to start off this episode number 3 of the Cherry Pickers Podcast. The Boston Bruins have just traded Jack Studnicka to the Vancouver Canucks. In return, Michael DiPietro is going the other way to Boston. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We have a jam-packed full schedule today. We're going to be talking about the reverse retro jerseys that just dropped. We're going to be talking about a little bit of the news in the NHL, and I also have a little segment that we're going to have a little fun with. So, first and foremost, B. Rhodes, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It is going to be a jam-packed episode, full of fun, full of laughs, full of discussion, and I'm ready to hang out and talk some hockey with you. How about that Oilers game tonight against the Blackhawks, B. Rhodes?
It was back and forth. I was pretty worried that they weren't going to pull through, but they got the W and they're 5-3. So a little sluggish start to the season, but they're still in a good spot. So you love to see it.
Oilers with the 6-5 W over the Blackhawks. 17 minor penalties in that game. My gosh, I don't even remember the last time I've ever witnessed a hockey game with that many penalties. That was a roller coaster. Oilers go ahead with what was like 35 seconds left in the game too. So what a crazy hockey game. And this week's been a little bit interesting. Let's talk about that trade that I quote unquote announced at the start of the podcast. So Jack Studnicka going to the Vancouver Canucks for Michael DiPietro. You got any thoughts, any opinions on this trade, B. Rhodes?
I really don't, to be honest. I don't know a whole lot about Jack Studnicka. As far as I know, I believe he's a depth forward for the Bruins, or was a depth forward for the Bruins, and Michael DiPietro is a prospect for the Canucks going the other way to the Bruins. So really, I don't think it's that major of a deal, but nonetheless, a trade that both teams feel may benefit their futures.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those scenarios where both players are, they're young and the progression's not really going and they kind of just need a change of scenery. Jack Studnicka, decent little two-way center. And then same thing with Michael DiPietro. He's had a lot of promise in his young career. And I think just with the situation right now, the Canucks, they're rolling Thatcher Demko, and then Spencer Martin's been a pretty good backup for them as well. There's not really any place for Michael DiPietro to grow. And same thing with Jack Studnicka. I think it will add a little bit more depth to the prospect pool for the Canucks. So just a little change of scenery trade. So that's one of those trades that you can't really obviously declare a winner yet, but we'll see further down the road. Speaking of the Vancouver Canucks, Brody, they're playing right now against Seattle. This will be their 8th game of the season, but so far they've started the season with an 0-5-2 record at the time of this recording. What do you think is going wrong over there in Vancouver?
Honestly, I think it's just the fact that they're not playing a full 60 minutes. They've had the lead in a few of their games, and they just haven't been able to lock it down defensively. My guess would be that it's just a defensive-related problem that's not letting them get their wins. I don't think it's a problem with their offense. So I think if they can get their defensive issues figured out, then they might be able to start playing good hockey and play the way that they know they can.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's kind of an interesting scenario where they have the same head coach as the head coach that almost brought them to the playoffs last year in Bruce Boudreau. Their roster really hasn't changed at all except for adding Ilya Mikheyev. Of course, he's been out with an injury. He's actually back tonight, and I believe he scored the first goal of the game against Seattle for the Canucks. But I do agree. I think, like you said, it needs to be a full 60 minutes of hockey for the Canucks. Aren't they something like the first team in NHL history to blow like 4 straight multi-goal leads in a row or something like that?
Yeah, they are. I definitely saw that stat. It was something crazy like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Thatcher Demko hasn't been playing like Thatcher Demko lately. JT Miller's been on the ice for something like 14 goals against. It's just, it's been a rough go at it for the Canucks in their own zone, and something definitely needs to change up, whether it be a trade. There's been some altercations between the players, too. I know there was a situation in their home opener where at the end of the second period, JT Miller and Tyler Myers were kind of Luke Shen and JT Miller were kind of going at it on the ice before they even got to the locker room, and the thing about that, too, is you look at a guy like Bo Horvat on the Canucks, who's their current captain. This is his last year of his deal. The money really isn't there to re-sign him, and that's supposed to be your leader on and off the ice. So it's a very interesting situation for the Canucks, and they gotta pick it up. They gotta figure it out, and they gotta figure it out quick, because as soon as you start going down 0-5-2 to start the season, you're already putting yourself in a hole, and your playoff hopes are definitely dwindling as we speak. So we'll have to keep tabs on Vancouver as they continue on throughout this season. On a good note, let's talk about an NHL record that just got set. Mr. Phil the Thrill, Phil Kessel, sets the Iron Man record, takes it over from Keith Yandel, playing in his 990th straight NHL game. And to top it off, in that game, he scores his 400th career goal. What do you think about Phil Kessel, Bee Rhodes?
You absolutely love to see this man breaking the Iron Man streak. I mean, how can you not love a guy who just crushes hot dogs and Cokes before games, goes out there, enjoys the game, produces at a good pace still for his age, and he's been a good addition to the Vegas Golden Knights so far, and he's had a really good career. And to think about playing 990 straight games in a league as physical as the NHL, and how physically demanding of a league it is as well, is really impressive.
You're absolutely right. Like, most players don't even reach the 1,000 game mark in their career, let alone play that many games straight. And like you said, for how physically demanding the sport of hockey is, and how good in shape you have to be to play hockey and to continue to play and avoid injuries. And, there's a bit of luck as well, but it's crazy to think that, Phil is the guy that's played the most straight games, like you said, the guy that devours hot dogs and Coke, drinks Coke on the bench, apparently is the most in shape NHL player in history. So just a fantastic storyline that you just love to see. And congrats to Phil Kessel. Iron Man record, 990 straight NHL games. Let's talk about another Western Conference team, the Chicago Blackhawks, who played the Oilers tonight. The Blackhawks this season so far, they're doing not too bad. They're 1 point back of first in the Central Division. They just came off of 4 straight wins. What do you think is causing the success over there in Chicago, Brody?
Honestly, I think it's just the fact that they have zero expectations on them this year. No one's expecting them to do anything. Everyone's expecting them to tank for Connor Bedard in the draft. And I think Chicago's just playing a carefree game right now, and they're just enjoying the success that they're currently having.
I think that's one of the best situations you can be in as an NHL team, when no one in their right mind expects you to do anything that year, when they don't expect you to be a playoff team, compete at all. That's really where things go right for your team, because if you go out on the ice saying, hey, no one expects us to do anything, so let's prove them wrong, that's where you start getting into such a winning mentality, because at that point, you really have nothing to lose. Like, you look up and down the Chicago's depth chart, Peter Mrazek's supposed to be their starting goalie. Like, outside of Seth Jones, they have pretty much zero defense core. All they have really on the offensive end is Patrick Kane, I guess Jonathan Taves. They're really not a deep team at all, and that's just so beneficial for them, because those are the types of teams that grow that strong locker room chemistry, and that chemistry carries over onto the ice. And like you said, with no expectations, it's just a match made in heaven for the Chicago Blackhawks. So yeah, the Blackhawks off to a good start. Like I said, 1 point back of first in the division, 4 straight wins, and we'll see how Chicago does this year. They're one of those teams that could surprise us, so let's talk about one more team in the Western Conference. Of course, my favorite team, the Calgary Flames, who are off to a very good start this year. They're 5-1-0. That's actually the best start they've ever had in franchise history. Those wins that the Flames got were against teams like Edmonton, Colorado, Vegas, Pittsburgh. Very good teams. And newcomer Nazem Kadri has at least 1 point in all 6 games to start the season. Do you think this team is a contender, Brody? Do you think they can make a deeper run this year than they did last year in the playoffs?
Yes, I do, and the reason I think that they will is because they added Mackenzie Weegar. I think the offense has been relatively similar to what it's been in the past, but I just think their defensive depth is what's going to give them that extra jump in the playoffs, because, as they say, defense wins championships, and I think with a stronger defense in front of Jacob Markstrom, it's going to allow him to play his game and not have to have as big of a workload every night in the playoffs. So I think Calgary's built to be a better playoff team this year than they were last year.
Yeah, I agree with you. There was one big thing that stood out to me against that second round against the Oilers. The acquisition of Mackenzie Weegar this year really did bring a lot to the Flames. You know, Mackenzie Weegar is obviously a very good defenseman, and adding him to any D-core will make the D-core better. But when you look back at that second round against the Oilers, Chris Tanev has really been the shutdown guy for the Flames. Like, Chris Tanev has always been such a good shutdown defenseman, blocks a ton of shots, plays great in his own zone, and he was injured for almost the entire series, which really hurt the Flames. As you could tell, Draisaitl and McDavid just kind of ran a train on the Flames defense core in that playoffs. And like you said, adding Mackenzie Weegar, I think, honestly, like, it kind of gets overshadowed by, the Huberdeau pickup and the Kadri pickup, but Mackenzie Weegar is going to be and has been a very solid piece for this team. And yeah, I believe they're going to have a little bit deeper of a run too. I think that Western Conference is starting to get a little bit stronger. I know the Stanley Cup champions came out of the Western Conference last year, but the last few years we've had some really good teams in the East, and the West has kind of dwindled off a little bit, but I think the West is getting a little bit stronger. So all right, Brody. One more thing before we hop into the reverse retros. Before tonight's games, I didn't take tonight's games into account, but before tonight's games, the points leaders in the NHL, David Pastrnak, Jesper Bratt, Artemi Panarin, and Valeri Nichushkin all have 12 points. Who do you think can stay that consistent with their point scoring, and who do you think is going to drop off?
I think Panarin, Pastrnak, and Bratt are the most likely to stay on their current point pace. I really don't see Nichushkin maintaining that pace all season. That's just my personal opinion, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens as the season progresses.
Why do you think Nichushkin can't keep up that pace?
I think it's just the fact that he's not playing on the top line as far as I know with McKinnon and Rantanen. And I don't know, it just seems like Colorado isn't quite as strong of a team as they were last year, and I just don't see Nichushkin maintaining that pace over all 82 games, but I could be proven wrong, but it's just how I see it.
See, I'm kind of in the same situation with you, except I would swap Bratt for Nichushkin. I think Nichushkin has some fantastic players around him, and Nichushkin does get power play time, which is very beneficial. I'm not sure about Bratt if he gets power play time, but Jesper Bratt's one of those players. I love his game. He's very crafty. He's got very good skating. Loves to play in the offensive zone. He's definitely a point producer, but he hasn't really proved himself yet over the course of an entire season. He did have a really good breakout year last year, but to be able to carry over those point totals and then some this year is going to be interesting to watch. Obviously, the New Jersey Devils are trying to push for a playoff spot, hoping that, they stay healthy and stuff like that. But I don't know, Jesper Bratt's one of those players where I think if he gets in the right situation, he could really take off and he could stay amongst those points leaders. Obviously, Pastrnak and Panarin, good players. They've been good players for a while. They'll probably stay in the top 20 of scoring, but yeah, we'll definitely have to keep a watch on Bratt and Nichushkin, as those are two names that don't come up in the top scoring leaders very often, so it'll be exciting to see if those guys can carry over their pace. All right, Bee Rhodes, so now it is time for the reverse retro jerseys. Of course, this is the second edition of the reverse retro jerseys. Every single NHL team has come up with a new jersey to honor the past, I guess, in a sense, but bring a new style to their team. As Adidas quotes, history never repeats. But we're going to discuss all the jerseys, and for you listeners and viewers on YouTube, I will actually put up the jerseys on YouTube so you guys can see them and understand basically what we're talking about, if you have seen the jerseys, if you have not. But we're going to go through each individual jersey, talk about them a little bit, and we're each going to give them a rating out of 10. So first off, let's start with the Anaheim Ducks, Bee Rhodes.
So for the Anaheim Ducks, I love that they brought back the Mighty Duck logo, as that is an iconic logo in the NHL. However, I'm not a big fan of the color scheme. I don't think it's as nice as the original Mighty Duck jersey is. So for me, it's like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Like it's nice, but it's nothing fantastic for me.
I got a feeling that I'm going to be the one that hypes up every single jersey, and Bee Rhodes is going to be the guy that absolutely puts down every jersey, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. With the Anaheim Ducks, I really like it. Of course, I agree with Bee Rhodes. The Mighty Duck logo coming back is awesome. I like the orange. I think the orange is really sharp. I'm not sure about the orange on the logo itself, but with the striping on the bottom of the jersey, I think it looks fantastic. My only issue with it, I think, is the black collar. I'm not a huge fan of the black collar, but other than that, I think it's a great jersey. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. That's a little bold. I'm giving it an 8. Let's move on to the Arizona Coyotes, Brody.
So for Arizona Coyotes, last time they did the reverse retros, the main color was actually purple. It's pretty much the same. It's just they have a more like a light brown. And to me, I actually like this a lot more because it resembles more of the desert style that the Arizona Coyotes are. So for me, like, I really like it. It's one of my favorites. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this orange. This orangish brown that they got going on. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the first jersey in NHL history that's using earth tones as their colors, which is pretty cool. And like you said, it kind of matches the desert vibe that they got going on. I was listening to the Bar Down podcast. Shout out to the boys over at Bar Down and TSN. Jesse was talking about the fact that they did the purple jersey last year, which kind of reminds him of dusk. And then you do this kind of brownish orange jersey that kind of reminds you of dawn. So next year, they got to roll with something like a light blue so you can kind of have like a midday jersey. I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, I agree. I like this jersey. Yeah, I don't really have too much against this jersey, but I think I like the Anaheim jersey more. So I'm going to give this one, I think, a 7.5 out of 10. Let's move on to the Boston Bruins, Bee Rhodes.
So for the Boston Bruins, I really like that they brought back the bear logo. I think it's just a really iconic old logo of the Boston Bruins. I like the design that they did on the back of the jersey specifically. I think the bottom looks really cool. It's just like it's a different, unique style of jersey to me. It's not something that you see every day. So I like it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
See, that's where we're a little opposite, Bee Rhodes, because I look at the Boston jersey. Of course, like, I like the bear logo. The bear logo's nice. I'm just unsure about the striping. Like, I gotta give Boston, props for trying something different with the striping at the bottom of the jersey, but I don't know if I'm the biggest fan. The jersey itself's not too bad. The numbering is all right. The shoulder patches are all right, but I'm not a huge fan of that striping. I think I'm going to give this one a 6.5. Let's move on to the Buffalo Sabres, who, in my opinion, cannot miss, man.
I agree. I love that they brought the goat head back, and to me, it's an iconic jersey from the 2005 era when they had players like Vanek, Afinogenov, Derek Roy, Chris Drury. Like, I could go on, but the fact that they have their current color scheme with the goat head logo, to me, looks even cleaner. It just looks that much more fresh to me, and I'm going to give this one the first 10 out of 10. I love this jersey.
Ooh, 10 out of 10 from Bee Rhodes. I agree with you, man. Like, this jersey is so clean. When I heard that there was rumors of them bringing back the goat head, I was just hoping that they bring back the red color scheme that they had in those mid-2000s. They didn't, but looking at this jersey now, like, that color scheme of the blue and yellow that they currently have still fits so well. I'm glad Buffalo keeps going with white jerseys because I think the white jerseys would work better than a solid yellow or blue. And this jersey is just mad clean. I only think there's one jersey better than this one, so for that, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's so close, it is so clean, but I'm going to give it a 9.5 because I got one jersey in mind that I just like so much better. Now let's move on to my team, the Calgary Flames. Bee Rhodes, what do you think of the pedestal?
I hate to say this and sound biased. I'm really trying not to. I'm trying to give my honest opinion here, but I don't like the belt look at the bottom. Like, I like the color scheme. I think it looks super clean. I love the white logo on the black. I think that looks really sharp. I think the red shoulders looks really nice as well. I don't like that satchel thing on the bottom. I feel like if it was a straight stripe, to me it would look a lot nicer. So for me, I gotta give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I don't hate this jersey, but it's also not my favorite. I think it could have been better. So for me, it's a 6.5.
So, B Rhodes, here's the thing. I want your opinion for the jersey, so if you're biased, be biased as possible, man. It's all good, you know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, I have the same opinion as you with this jersey. I know there's such a divide in the Flames community between the pedestal. The pedestal they used back in the day was actually a white-based jersey with the red shoulders. So it's cool to see that they're bringing in a black jersey with the white logo. I think that looks very sharp. Like you said, the red shoulders looks great. The striping looks good. I just don't like the pedestal. It just looks like a bathrobe, you know? So I agree. I'm going to give it a 6.5 as well. And that's coming from a Flames fan, so don't feel too biased, Bureau. Let's move on to Carolina now.
I got one word for this jersey, and that word is boring. It looks just like their regular road jersey, just with red and black as the main colors instead of white. Like, it just looks like there was no effort put into this jersey, really. So for me, I'm giving it like a 6. I don't think it's anything that special.
I'm going to take your one-word description, and I'm going to match it with one word of my own, B Rhodes. That is lazy. I agree with you. They literally made a red version of their road jerseys, and a small detail on this jersey, they put the hurricane flag in the C for Canes, and I think it does not look good at all. I don't like the look of it. The striping's kind of boring. There's only a couple teams in the NHL that can get away with the diagonal text across the front. I don't like this jersey. I'm giving it a 5, and that's being generous. But if we're talking about jerseys that are boring / lazy, let's talk about Chicago.
All I gotta say about this one is yikes. Like, it's just so bland and boring. There's no logo. It's just stripes of Chicago. So for me, I'm honestly giving this like a 2. It's awful. It is literally awful.
Yeah, I was actually I was talking about this jersey with my girlfriend a couple hours ago, and we were comparing this jersey to Detroit, which we will get to in a bit here. I do not understand the striping pattern on the bottom of this jersey. So if you're going from top down, you got a white stripe, then a big black stripe with Chicago, and then another white stripe. That looks perfectly fine. The problem is the following stripage on the sleeves don't match the body of the striping on the body, and it's like it's so confusing, man. It's like you look at it, it's like, okay, this is the color of striping that goes on the bottom of the jersey. It goes black, white, red, black. Like, there is no pattern at all to the striping. It just looks like someone just slapped a bunch of random colors on a bunch of stripes at the bottom of the jersey. And the Chicago text is just so boring. I don't like the red outline on it. This is a terrible jersey. Like, I think this might be the first and only 0 out of 10 I give for these jerseys. It is just horrendous. Let's talk about Colorado.
So for Colorado, to me, it looks like a pretty basic jersey. Like, yeah, I get that they brought the Colorado Rockies theme back, but I'm not a big fan of the Colorado Rockies logo to begin with. The colors aren't bad, but to me, it's nothing special. I think to me, it's like a 4 out of 10. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this jersey's all right. I don't mind it. I like that they kind of kept the same pattern as their normal jerseys with, like, the striping on the bottom. I do like the color pattern that the Rockies have with the blue, yellow, and red. I agree with you. The Rockies logo is a little bit boring. I don't think this is the worst jersey. It is pretty plain. I think it'll look sharp on the ice, but I don't know. This jersey's a little lackluster to say. Yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm going to give it a 4 as well. There's just not a lot going on with this jersey. It's just pretty bland, I guess. Columbus Blue Jackets, B Rhodes, take it away.
So for Columbus, to me, it looks like just a regular third jersey. It doesn't look like anything too crazy. It's their normal logo with their main color is the body part on the chest with like a light blue shoulder that goes all the way down the sleeve. It's pretty basic. It's not great. It's not awful. It's like a 5 out of 10. Pretty average, if you ask me.
I'm not a big fan of this jersey. I don't know why they went with a black base on this jersey. Like, the Blue Jackets logo has no black in it at all. The blue that they used as well is like a really odd blue compared to the ones that they've used. Like, they have one jersey that has this blue kind of in it. I don't know. I think there's just better possibilities here. Like, you look at their reverse retro last year where they had the red base with the white shoulders and arms. That was a really sharp jersey. I was a big fan of that. I don't know why they couldn't have done something like that again. Do the red solid with maybe like the dark navy blue shoulders kind of thing. Like, I really like when Columbus does like a solid red jersey, but with a solid black jersey and the blue, like the mismatched blue, I don't know. This is a miss for me. Like, compared to last year, this has got to be like a 3 out of 10 for me. Let's kick it over to Dallas.
So for Dallas, I really love that they brought their original logo back from like the 2006 era with Marty Turco, Mike Modano, Yuri Letnin, Sergei Zubov, those types of players. The one knock I have on it is the shoulder, the sleeve. I don't really like the one length, like all the way down the jersey. I think if it was just like the green shoulders and then maybe like black arms or just something different, I think it would have been a lot nicer. But to me, because of that, I'm gonna have to knock it down to like a 6.5. It's nice, but I feel like it could have been better.
This jersey got a lot of praise on Twitter, and I'm really not sure why. It's another really basic jersey. Like, yes, the Stars logo that they brought back, fantastic, great logo, big fan of it. But what really made those jerseys stand out back in the early and mid 2000s was that kind of star pattern that they had on the striping at the bottom of the jersey. And with this one, it's just another lackluster one where, like you said, the striping on the shoulders just goes straight down. There's no bends or curves. It's really basic. Like, it's nothing crazy. Love the logo. Don't really love the jersey itself. I'm going to give this one a 5, I think. All right, the jersey that I was talking about earlier, let's talk about Detroit.
So Detroit basically just called up Chicago and they were like, oh, hey, we forgot this assignment is due tomorrow. Can we borrow your homework? And then Chicago was like, sure, you can take it. Just don't make it exactly the same. So this jersey is very similar to Chicago's. It's like red with stripes across. Chicago's is a mixture of black and white striping down the middle, with Chicago as their lettering. With Detroit, it's all black stripes with a white Detroit logo in the middle, or just the lettering. It's super basic. Like, it's awful as well. And I'm going to give it the same as Chicago. It's like a 2. It's awful. Just don't use it.
Just don't use it, he says. You heard it from Bee Rhodes. Don't buy it. Don't use it. Yeah, it does look like a Chicago knockoff. I like the striping on this one more. At least it has a little more uniform compared to, pardon my voice there, compared to the Chicago striping is just all over the place. I know we're rating this just off of jerseys alone, but I have seen some photos of this jersey in use with the equipment, and I gotta say, it does look pretty sharp. The thing that just kind of frustrates me about Detroit, like, we look at this reverse retro this year, and then we look at the one they used last year, which was literally a practice jersey, and it's frustrating because Detroit has probably one of the most unique logos in the NHL. They have a history of having fantastic jerseys in Winter Classics and such, and it just kind of sucks when you see Detroit put out a jersey like this because they have the potential to make a lot cooler jerseys. I gave Chicago a 0. I'm going to give Detroit a 2 because I think it looks pretty good with the equipment, and that's all it's got going for it. All right, Bee Rhodes, the Edmonton Oilers, take it away.
I really like how they brought back the oil drop jersey, as it's one of their most iconic jerseys that they've ever had. However, I don't think it's as nice as the original one was. I think the color scheme on the old one was so much nicer. I like the orange on the outside of the jersey, but not directly in the logo. I think if it was like a navy blue oil drop in the middle instead of orange, it might have been that much better. So for me, like, it's a nice jersey, but I don't think it's the best one either. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Like, it's nice. I love how they brought the oil drop back, but I think it could have been better as well.
But you're still gonna cop it, right?
Oh, I already pre-ordered it.
He's already got his on the way. You already know. B Rhodes is up to date with his Oilers jerseys. I'm glad that you said what you said about this jersey, because like how you felt about the Flames, I don't want to feel like I'm biased against the Oilers, but I totally agree. I'm still on the fence about this orange and the oil drop. I've been looking at it for a while now, and I just don't know. The original one was so nice. I just think the orange is a little off-putting. The logo itself, I like the logo. I think the logo is really cool. The orange striping on the sleeves isn't too bad, but that oil in the logo, or that orange in the logo it's a little off-putting. I think props to them for bringing it back. However, they didn't execute it as good as they could have. I think I'm going 6.5 for the Oilers jersey. Now let's move on to a spicy one. I was not expecting this. The Florida Panthers.
I like it personally. I love how they brought back their vintage logo. I like the way the colors look. The only real knock I have on this jersey is the very bottom. I don't really understand that dark blue spot at the bottom. I think if it was just like that red and orange stripe at the bottom, like without the dark blue, it would look so much cleaner. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really like it, but that's just my one knock, is that navy blue at the very bottom.
Yeah, I agree. They should have changed that navy blue to the light sky blue that they have going on in this jersey. I got to give Florida props for this one, man. The creativity is at an all-time high. Like, this is a nasty-looking jersey. I love the striping on the sleeves and the lower part of the body. I love that they went with the blue collar, but still kept the shoulders that red and yellow. I'm not sure about the shoulder patches. They're okay. But yeah, bringing in that logo, their shoulders logo onto the main crest looks really cool. I think this is a pretty sharp jersey. I agree. I think I'm going to go probably about 8.5 on this Florida jersey. There's just a couple things that I would change if I could, but I think it's a really good jersey regardless. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Kings. Take it away, B Rhodes.
So for the LA Kings, they brought back their classic jerseys from, I want to say, when they first entered the league, like probably in the 60s is probably when they wore this, like Marcel Dion times. But to me, I like the way the logo looks. I like the color scheme. However, I'm not big on the one color sleeve all the way down. I've never liked it on any of the jerseys. So for me, that kind of ruins it for me. So I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. It's okay. It's not great.
Yeah, I called this one the Los Angeles Lakers because it's obviously the purple and gold coloring that the Lakers have used their entire time they've been a basketball team, and like you said, the Kings used it when they came into the league as well. I think it's a great color combination. I love the crown logo. I've always been such a big fan of these types of Kings jerseys. My only thing I don't like about it that much, you were talking about, the sleeves being the one color all the way down. I don't mind it, but I hate the rounded off white part on the sleeves. I think if that came down farther down the sleeve, I think it would look better. That's really my only, that's my only thing that I dislike about this jersey. Like I said, love the logo, love the colors. I think I'm going to give this one a 7.5. I do like this jersey quite a bit. There's just a small thing I would change with it. All right, the Minnesota Subway Wild.
Eat fresh. So with this jersey, yeah, the color scheme looks nice. Like it's a knockoff on the Minnesota North Stars when they were in the NHL, but based on their previous reverse retro jersey, it doesn't stand out to me because it's the same jersey. It's just green as the main color instead of white. So for that reason, like, I have to give it like a 5. Like, it's a nice jersey, but I wish they would have tried something different with the new reverse retro designs. So for me, it's just a 5. Like, it's pretty average to me.
Yeah, like you said, this is basically a home jersey for the away one that they made last year. I love this color combination. I know I got harped on a lot last year when I said that I like Minnesota, and everyone basically said it was Subway colors. I think this color combination is great. I love the use of the yellow in the Minnesota Wild logo. I think that looks really sharp. I would honestly love if the Wild used these jerseys as their primary colors. I think that would be really cool. But I agree, the laziness is definitely there. They had the chance to do something, special again this year, and all they did was make an inverse jersey of their first reverse retro. I'm going to give it a 6.5 just because I like it, but the laziness is definitely there, so. Okay, the Montreal Canadiens. What do you think, Brody?
So for Montreal, their jersey is based on the Montreal. I can't remember what the
Expos.
team name was. Expos. That's what it is. Yeah, it's a very classic team. Like, this is when the Montreal Canadiens were first in the NHL, or even before. I'm not sure. It's really old, but it's based on that color scheme. And with the Montreal Canadiens, it's hard to spice things up because of how original their jersey is. Like, they've had that logo for I don't know how long, and that's what people seem to knock on the original 6 is, they don't really try anything that special, but it's because their logo is just such a like
Iconic.
a staple. It's iconic. It's like a staple to their franchise. So with that understanding in mind, I like what they did, and I'm gonna give them a 7 out of 10. Like,
Wow,
I like
7.
it. I like it based on what they're what they were going for with that jersey.
What they were going for and what they had to work with. Yeah, I get that. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like this, so not only is this this color, this blue that they use for the Expos, but it's also like something like Montreal's city's like official color. This is the color that they use, this light blue. I just really don't like the light blue with the red Canadiens logo. And like you said, Brody, there's not a lot they can do because it's such an iconic and staple to their organization. I'm just not a fan of the red and the light blue together. I don't mind the striping of the jersey. I think the striping looks good. I like that they're using the white numbering on it. I'm just not a huge fan of this light blue. Like, it's just, I look at it and I'm not blown away by it. I don't think it's all that good looking. I'm going to give Montreal a 4. Let's move on to Smashville.
For me, this one just reminds me of their alternate jersey from like 2006-07 season when they had that design as their alternate. So to me, it's nothing crazy. Like, I'm not a fan of that logo, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my favorite. I think it's pretty average. So I'm going to give it like a 6.
So the Mustard Cat logo, that's what the logo's called in Nashville. It's the Mustard Cat. And the reason why they call it the Mustard Cat is because of the color of yellow jerseys they had when they used that logo. It was a very ugly mustard yellow. And the problem with this jersey is that the Mustard Cat is really only iconic because of the color of jersey. And since they're using the logo on the current color that they're using, this logo's kind of irrelevant. Like you said, this logo kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's not a great logo. It's very basic. And I'm kind of upset with Nashville because they missed a very good opportunity to use like a dark blue as their primary color. They haven't had a dark blue jersey since, I believe, 2011. And it's obvious that they're trying to identify as yellow. Like, that's their color. But I really think they missed the opportunity here, and they really executed it poorly. I'm giving the Mustard Tiger a 2.5. I don't like it. I don't think it's a good jersey. Okay, New Jersey Devils.
I like this jersey, and I like how they did the color scheme. Was it for the Kansas City
or did Scouts?
The Kansas City Scouts, yeah. So they did that color scheme, and I like how New Jersey did it with their current logo and just the stripes of their normal jerseys. I also like how they do the red and green. So for me, it just looks kind of clean. It's not my favorite jersey out of them all, but I do think it's pretty nice. I'm gonna give them a 7.5.
I agree with you. Like, this is a nice jersey. Like, it doesn't look bad. It's not the craziest jersey out there, but it doesn't look too bad. I like the shoulders. The striping's nice. I like how they inverted the striping on the arms and the bottom of the base of the jersey. I think the only thing that I wish they did with this jersey was add maybe a yellow stripe around that blue circle inside the logo. If they added a little bit more yellow, I think this jersey would pop a little bit more. But like I said, this is a nice jersey. Like, it's not bad. I think it's going to look good on the ice, but it's not crazy. I think 7.5 is pretty fair for this New Jersey one, which is actually pretty good for New Jersey because they usually don't hit on jerseys that well. Cue the jersey, but yeah, I think this is a pretty good jersey. 7.5, I think, is pretty fitting for New Jersey there. Now let's move on to one that was basically a wish that was granted to the Islanders.
Yeah, with the Islanders, they brought back the Fisherman. It was a huge jersey during the 90s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a clean logo. I like the colors on it. I think it's a really nice jersey. The only thing I'm not huge on is the striping on it. I think it could have been better, but I really like this jersey. I love how they brought the Fisherman back. It's an iconic logo from the Islanders franchise. I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10. I think it's nice, but I think it could have been better too.
The Islanders must have definitely heard the response of their jersey last year, because their last reverse retro, you couldn't even tell the difference between the reverse retro and their home jersey, and I don't think fans were too happy with that one. I'm so glad they brought back the Fisherman logo. I love that logo. I think it looks great. I love the bold text on it. I love the wave at the bottom of it. Such a fantastic hockey logo. But I do agree with you, Bee Rhodes. I do think the striping is a little awkward on this jersey. Other than that, like, you know, the white numbering looks great. I think there's a little too much orange on that bottom striping. I think it's a great jersey, though. I think it's fantastic for the Islanders to actually do something creative instead of recreate their home jersey. I'm going to give this one an 8.5. All right, the blue shirts, New York Rangers.
I have a slight hot take on this. It's nothing crazy, but I do love that they brought the Liberty logo. I think it's super clean. But to me, it doesn't pop like the dark blue one did from like the 06-07 season. Like, it's still a nice jersey, but it just doesn't hit the same as the other one did for me. So for me, I'm going to give it like a 6.5, a 7. Like, it's really nice. Don't get me wrong, but I think the OG color looks a lot better than this one.
I kind of agree with you on this. When I first saw this jersey, I kind of thought the blue they used was a little much. Like last year, for the reverse retros, they did use that navy blue, which looked fantastic. The Liberty logo is a very good logo, one of the best in the NHL. Yeah, I think that blue, like, I understand that the blue shirts, you know, I just think the blue's a little too light as well. Another problem I have with this jersey, I don't understand why there's a single black stripe on the arms. Like, I don't like the looks of that. You know, when you're running a color scheme of blue, red, and white, I don't understand why there's black thrown in there. Other than that, I think it's a solid jersey. I think it's going to look fantastic on the ice. I'm going to give this one, yeah, I'd say probably about an 8 on this one. There's a couple little gripes that I have about this jersey, but nevertheless, it still is a nice looking jersey. So I'm going to give it an 8 on this one. Now let's move over to the nation's capital, Ottawa.
This one to me looks a lot like their home jersey right now. I'm not a big fan of the font that they use for the numbers, and the striping underneath the logo looks kind of weird to me. I think it's okay. It's not great. I'm gonna give it like a 4. It just doesn't stand out to me as a really nice looking jersey, to be honest.
Yeah, this one's kind of a little funky. I, as opposite of you, Bee Rhodes, I actually love the Ottawa font. I don't know, there's just something about it. It's so goofy looking to a point where you just like it. That's how I kind of view it. But that's really the only thing I kind of like about this jersey. Like you said, the striping underneath the logo is kind of weird. I don't even know about the striping on the arms, like just the big patch of red. I don't even like the shoulder patches. Like, I think the only thing I like about this jersey is the fact that it's a black jersey and the font. I like the font as well. I'm going to go 4.5. I'm just going to up you a little bit because I really like the font and I'm glad that they used it again. But other than that, that's all I think they really got going for them. Okay, so Philadelphia, let's talk about them. But Philadelphia's got a cool little twist with their jerseys.
Honestly, for this one, I think Philly just missed the memo. I think they forgot that the reverse retros was happening. They're like, oh, we got to hand in something real quick. But to me, it's just so basic. Like, it just looks like any other road jersey Philly's ever had. So for me, I don't really like it. I think it's super basic. I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's pretty boring. There's not a lot going on. I don't mind the striping pattern on the shoulders and the arms. The striping on the body is boring. Um, I would give them a 3, but the fact that they're bringing the Cooperalls back in warm-ups with these jerseys, that gives them a +1. So I'm giving them a 4 just because of the Cooperalls. Let's move on to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I really like this jersey. I've always been a fan of the Robo Penguin look from like the days of Lemieux and Yager, and I just think it's a really clean jersey. I think Pittsburgh hit it in the sense that it's subtle, but you can really tell it's a retro jersey, and I think it just looks super clean. I'm giving the Penguins a 9 out of 10. I really like this jersey.
I agree with you, man. This jersey, this hit it right on the nose. Like, the Robo Penguin logo is fantastic. Of course, it reminds, the fan base of the great 66. The shoulders looks fantastic. The striping's great. Love the striping on the sleeves there. This is a really clean jersey. Like I said, this reverse retro group kind of was a little underwhelming to me, but this is one of those jerseys that really got the memo and really hit it on the nose. I'm also going to give this a 9 out of 10. I think this is a fantastic jersey. I'm excited to see Pittsburgh use this one. Okay, another team that tried something very unique. Let's talk about the San Jose Sharks.
So with the Sharks, they went off the California Golden Seals, and they had a really interesting design. They were like a white jersey with yellow and like a tealish looking color, and they just had seals in that font across the chest. It looked really classic, like nothing too crazy. With the Sharks jersey, they went off that exact same design, but they have just sharks in the middle, and it doesn't really strike me as a Sharks jersey. Like, when I think of the San Jose Sharks, I think of like a teal, gray, black, white kind of color scheme with the OG Shark logo. So for me, this just looks really weird. I'm not a huge fan of it, if I'm being perfectly honest. I'm going to give it like a 4. Like, I like how they tried to go off that design, but it just doesn't scream San Jose to me.
That's totally fair, honestly. Like you said, this jersey does not scream San Jose at all. You look at this, you would honestly think it's a Golden Seals jersey. You'd have to read the text on the chest and double check. I don't know. I'm a sucker for white jerseys. Like, I really like just solid white jerseys. I really like the California Golden Seals jerseys too. Like, I thought they were really cool. I don't know. Like, it strikes me off a bit as lazy. I don't mind the jersey. I think it looks clean. No way, shape, or form does it remind me of a Sharks jersey as well, but I think it is a really clean jersey. I'm going to give San Jose for this one a 7, and I will give them an 8 in the future if they use white skates with this jersey, because that's what the Golden Seals did. They rocked white skates. So San Jose gets a 7 for this one from me, but they get an 8 if they wear the white skates. So it's on you, San Jose. Bust out the old white skates or you're sticking at a 7. Now let's move on to a very interesting one, which honestly I didn't even think they were going to get a jersey. The Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, Seattle was a team that they obviously have nothing to work with. They literally just had a home and a road jersey last year, and to me, like, it looks pretty basic. It's just the normal Seattle Kraken logo in the middle with like a light blue on the top and bottom with some dark blue striping. Like, it looks okay. Doesn't look anything eye-popping to me. I'm going to give it like a 6. It's not great. It's not terrible.
I actually like this jersey quite a bit. See, that's like you said, that's the thing, that Seattle didn't have anything to go off of. Obviously, they've been in the league for 1 year, so how could they even have a retro jersey? But the concept behind this jersey for Seattle was they wanted to make a jersey that looked like something they would wear in the 50s and 60s. And the striping on this jersey makes a lot of sense. And I really like the solid teal that they use, because, you know, in their home jerseys that they use the very dark navy. And then their road jerseys, obviously, they use white. So using this solid teal as their main coloring, I think looks really good. I think this is going to be a good looking jersey on the ice. I'm going to give it a 7.5 based off of what they had to work with. And they pulled nothing, like they pulled something out of nothing, basically. And I think it looks decent. So I'm going to give them a 7.5 out of 10. All right, the St. Louis Blues.
This one's an interesting design because they went off a yellow as their main color with, I think the St. Louis Blues logo in the middle looks nice. Like it gives like a really classic look. And a lot of people might not like the look of this jersey, but I think they actually hit the point of what reverse retro is. Mm-hmm. It's like a retro design, but not what they would normally make the jersey look like. So for me, I think they hit that pretty good. I'm going to give them a 7.5. I like the OG looking logo. I like the font that they use for it. I like the yellow is the main. They're trying something different. So for me, I think it looks pretty cool. I'm going to give them a 7.5.
I think I agree with you on everything about this jersey. Like, it looks really cool, really unique, and it does look very retro. Love the use of the yellow as the primary color. I have one issue with the jersey and one issue only. I just don't like the blue at the bottom of the sleeves. I think if they would have kept those sleeves yellow all the way through and through, I think this would be a lot better. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good jersey. Like, I think it's definitely one of the better ones in the batch. I'm going to give it an 8. If they had just the straight yellow sleeves, I would be tempted to give this, a 9. But this does look very retro. It looks very modern, and it looks really sharp. I'm excited to see this one. Now, the question is, Brody, I want you to answer this question. Are they going to use blue pants or yellow pants?
I think they're going to use blue.
I want to see them with yellow. I think it would look really cool if they use yellow pants. I agree with you. I think they're probably going to use blue, but I think yellow would be so sick. I'm excited to see these jerseys on the ice, honestly. I think they're going to pop. Okay. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Take it away.
I might have a slight hot take on this one, as I don't know if many people are going to agree with me. I personally love this jersey. I think with the way it looks, because they have the Lightning logo in the middle, the original Lightning logo from like the Le Cavalier, Brad Richards, Marty St. Louis era, and with the rain and the way it is on the bottom, it just all kind of flows with the Lightning. I think it looks pretty cool. People might not agree with me, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it looks pretty cool.
B Rhodes, I'm going to be honest with you. I hate this jersey, man. I don't like it. And it kind of sucks because I like Tampa Bay jerseys. There's so much going on this jersey. First of all, you got 5 different colors on the jerseys. You got blue, you got gray, you got black, you got white, and then you got yellow. I see what they're going for, with the C at the bottom, the rain coming down. You got the lightning bolts on the side, on the sleeves. I see what they're going for, but there's just so much going on in this jersey, and it's just too much. I love the OG Tampa Bay logo. That's just such a nostalgic logo. But I think if they got rid of the lightning bolts, I would like it a bit more. I am not a fan. I think there's too much going on. I think they tried way too hard, and it's a 2.5 for me. I don't like it. All right, Toronto Maple Leafs.
I got one word for this jersey, and that word is average.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a knockoff home jersey that they currently have. Like, it's pretty basic. It's just a blue body, normal Leaf logo, white stripes, white shoulders. Just average. I'm gonna give it like a 4. I don't think it's really anything to write home about.
You know, it's funny. I was telling my girlfriend, too, when we were looking at these jerseys, I told her, it's funny you say that it looks like a knockoff jersey, because I literally told her that it looks like a jersey that you would see for sale at Walmart or Canadian Tire that's not branded, and it's a wannabe home jersey. It's better than last year. Like, I guess they got that going for it, but it's still just, it's whatever. It's a 3. It's just a Toronto jersey. Okay. Let's talk about a jersey that's not even close to average. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks.
I personally really like this jersey. I like that they brought Johnny Canuck as the logo. I think that's just a really retro design, which is what you're trying to do with these jerseys. The only thing I'm not major on is the numbering on the front left. I think without that numbering there, it would look cleaner to me. I do really like it, though. I think it's a really cool jersey. It's something different. I've never seen the Canucks rock that logo, so I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. I like it. The only thing I don't like is the front numbering.
Now, do you know why they have the front numbering on this jersey?
I don't actually know why.
They're not putting numbers on the back of the jersey. Does that sway your opinion at all?
I mean, maybe a little. I didn't know they were not using numbers on the back, so I can understand now why they're doing it on the front. So, yeah, like it is still a clean jersey regardless to me, but I didn't know they weren't doing the numbers on the back.
Yeah, that's my only problem with this jersey. Like, I understand that, you're trying to get a glimpse of the past and bring back jerseys that, look old school, but the NHL, like, with this jersey, like, you got to remember how much a jersey markets the game. And for people to, that aren't diehard fans of the Canucks to see the Canucks play in this uniform, it's just going to be so confusing for them because they're not even going to know, who has the puck and whatnot. Like, it's hard. I wish the play-by-play commentator that has to call the game with these jerseys on the best because it's going to be one hell of a game for them. But honestly, other than that, love the navy blue. Love the Johnny Canuck logo. I love the font that they use on the front and sides of the jerseys, and the striping is so clean. I think if they put the numbers on the back of the jersey, I'd give this a 10. But since there's no numbers on the back, I'm just so conflicted by it. I'm going to give it an 8, maybe even 7.5. Like, that's how much it matters to me. I don't know why, but it's just, yeah, I'm not sure what the no numbers on the back. Other than that, clean jersey. Okay, let's talk about another not-so-retro team, the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, for me, I like the black body on the chest. The striping's all right. I'm not a fan of the diagonal Vegas across. To me, it's just, it doesn't really stand out. But what I do like about this jersey that is different from every single team is the fact that this jersey actually is glow in the dark, which I think is really cool. But I'm not a fan of the diagonal striping. It just kills it for me. So I'm going to give it like a 7. It's all right, but I don't think it's anything special, but I do like how it glows in the dark. I think that's pretty cool.
The more I look at this jersey, I think the more it honestly grows on me. I agree with you with the diagonal text. I think there's only a couple teams in the league that can pull it off. I don't think Vegas is one of them. A lot of people also say, that's like, oh, it's a glow-in-the-dark jersey. Like, how are they going to utilize that in a hockey game? And you got to remember, man, it's Vegas. They have, like, the best presentation in the entire NHL. They're going to utilize it pregame, postgame, whenever they can. Striping on this jersey is fantastic. I love the solid black look for Vegas since they've, up until this year, they've been using the dark gray, which looks good, but I'm a sucker for the black, red, and yellow combo. Obviously, that's why I always think the Flames jerseys are so good. The glow-in-the-dark aspect is really cool. I think I agree with you, Bee Rhodes. I think the only thing I don't like about this jersey is the diagonal text. But other than that, I'm going to give it an 8. It really has grown on me. When I first saw this jersey, I thought it was maybe like a 5. but I'm starting to like it more and more I look at it. So I'm going to go with an 8 on this Vegas jersey. All right, we got 2 more jerseys, Bee Rhodes. Let's go with the Washington Capitals.
I absolutely love this jersey. I love it. It brings me back to like when Ovechkin was in his rookie season, when he did that dive like on his back and still curled the puck in the net when he first got in the league. I love the Screaming Eagle logo with the black home jersey design that they had. Their old black home jersey had the White House logo, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they brought the Screaming Eagle back with this current color scheme, I really like it. I'm honestly giving it a 10 out of 10. I love this jersey.
This is the best jersey in the league. And I don't care what anyone says, man. This jersey is so clean. Like you said, they used the Screaming Eagle with their road jerseys back in the mid-2000s, which looked good, granted. But it just sucked that you never got to see the Screaming Eagle logo with a black jersey. And the fact that they put it on a black jersey now with this striping, oh, dude, this jersey is so nice. I love the striping that they brought back from last year's reverse retro when they rocked the red jersey. This jersey, man, is incredible. The striping is so good. I love the Capitals on the blue stripe. The Screaming Eagle logo, of course, fantastic. This is the one and only 10 out of 10 I will give in this list. This jersey is fantastic. And the last one, the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, the Winnipeg Jets one to me is pretty boring. Like, a lot of people said that they love the Jets jersey because they like the colors on it, but to me, it looks pretty boring. I don't think they did anything too crazy with the logo. The coloring is just one stripe on each arm and a stripe on the bottom. I don't think it's anything to write home about. I'm giving them a 5. I don't think it's anything too crazy, to be honest.
I think I like this jersey a little bit. It's a little confusing because, red is such an iconic color with the Winnipeg Jets. But I don't know. I think with this jersey, I think the lack of the color of red really works. The striping is boring. I love the light blue outer ring on the Jets logo. I don't know. This jersey is not bad in my opinion, but like you said, it is a little boring. It is a little lackluster. It's better than a lot of the reverse retros this year, but I do like the coloring on this one. I like the lack of red. I wish the striping was a little more interesting. If it was, then I'd give it a higher rating, but I think I'm going to go with a solid 6 on Winnipeg. Like, it's not bad. It's not Chicago bad, but it's not Washington good. So I'm going to go with a 6 for the Winnipeg jersey. So, Bee Rhodes, top 3 reverse retros. What are they for you?
For me, at the number 3 spot, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins Robo Penguin jersey. Like I said before, I love it. I think it looks super clean. Number 2, I have the Buffalo Sabres jersey with the goat head with their current colors. I think it looks super clean. And number 1 for me is the Washington Capitals. I don't think any other jersey beats that one. I think it's super nice. So for me, I have Penguins, Buffalo, and Capitals.
So if you've been listening to this show for a while, you would know that me and Bee Rhodes we've been friends for a long time, since we were very young. And we share a lot of the same hockey opinions. And once again, today is nothing different. My top 3 for the reverse retros is also Pittsburgh at number 3, Buffalo at 2, Washington 1. Those jerseys easily, hands down, the best looking jerseys out of this reverse retro group. And what a surprise that me and you have the same picks again, Bee Rhodes, right?
Just another day, another dollar.
All right, so we're pushing a little bit longer on this episode, but I do want to get to this last topic before we wrap it up. This is a little fun intermission that I was actually scrolling through TikTok a few days ago, and I came across this thread that eventually led me to Reddit. This section I'm going to call, Bee Rhodes, NHL facts that sound weird to say out loud. So I'm going to say a fact to you, and first of all, I want to know if you knew it or not, and then I also want to know your opinion on it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do her.
All right, so we're going to start with the Edmonton Oilers. Fun fact for you. Nail Yakupov, if you don't know who Nail Yakupov is, look it up, had more goals in his rookie season than Connor McDavid. Did you know that?
I did know that fact. Yes, he did.
Do you know how many goals Yakupov had?
Yakupov had 17 goals in 48 games.
And how many did McDavid have?
16 goals in 45 games.
Dude, do not quiz this guy on Oilers facts. Like, he knows everything about the frickin' franchise, man. I should have known that you would have known this Oilers fact, but that's one of those that you kind of just sit there and you're like, wait a second. Are you sure? Okay. The next one. The Montreal Canadiens have won more Stanley Cups against the Boston Bruins than the Boston Bruins have won in their entire franchise history. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but based on how many Stanley Cups they have won, it actually does not surprise me.
Do you know how many cups the Montreal Canadiens have won against the Bruins?
I'm going to go with like 14.
Oh my gosh. How many cups have the Bruins won in total?
I believe it's 11.
It's something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 11.
I forgot to fact check that one, so if I'm wrong about that, just roast me in the YouTube comments or add me on Twitter or something. I didn't fact check it, so yeah, we're gonna go with that. Those numbers sound good. Do your homework next time, Zuu. The next one, Ken Dryden won the Conn Smythe Trophy before the Calder Trophy. Did you know that?
I did not know that at all.
So I fact-checked this one. Ken Dryden is the only player in history to win the Conn Smythe before the Calder Trophy. In his rookie year, he only played 6 games, so it didn't classify as a full NHL season, but he won the Calder Trophy in that first year, then played the full next year and won the Calder Trophy. I meant to say he won the Conn Smythe first year. So yeah, Ken Dryden is the only player in NHL history to win the Conn Smythe, which is MVP of the playoffs, before the Calder Trophy, which is Rookie of the Year. That's kind of crazy. You want to hear another little cool fact about Ken Dryden?
Let's hear it, dude.
So Ken Dryden faced off against his brother Dave Dryden only 6 days after his debut, and that is the first and only time in NHL history that brothers played against each other as goalies.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Because you think about how many like brothers have played with or against each other in the NHL. That is the only time that brothers have played against each other as goalies. So, all right, another fact about goalies. Here we go. You know Glenn Hall. Should know Glenn Hall at least, I hope. He played from 1954 to 1971. Can you guess how many consecutive games he played as a goalie?
I'll go with like 150.
You're going to want to bump that number up a little.
Really?
Really.
Wow. Let's go with like 200.
Glenn Hall played 502 consecutive games as a goalie.
Holy man, that's crazy.
To put that into perspective, he would have to play, currently, he would have to play 6 full seasons and an extra 10 games. Like, any goalie would have to play 6 full seasons, all 82 games, plus an extra 10 games to tie his record. 500 consecutive games. Like we talked about earlier in the show with Phil Kessel setting the Ironman record for 990. It's like so much more physically demanding to be a goalie. And for a goalie to play 500 consecutive games, that's crazy. I thought you would enjoy that stat.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, actually. I would never have thought that many games.
Okay, let's talk about another Edmonton Oiler. This time, the greatest one, Wayne Gretzky. Everyone knows, Wayne Gretzky, best scorer of all time, holds a record for most points in a career. Wayne Gretzky, good player, but I don't think people really break it down to understand how many points Wayne Gretzky put up. So, in exactly 6 years, from 1980/81 to 85/86, Wayne Gretzky put up exactly 1,200 points, for an average of exactly 200 points per season. If we compare that to Connor McDavid in the 2021 season when he had almost 100 points in 50 some games? What's the exact number? You know the number.
He had 105 points in 56 games.
Yeah, so if we compare that, Connor McDavid was on pace for 154 points that year, and McDavid averaged 200 every single season for 6 seasons. That's nuts. Like I said, we always talk about how much Wayne Gretzky scored and stuff like that, but when you break it down like that, you see how dominant Connor McDavid is on the ice, and just to know that Wayne Gretzky was that plus some, that's just berserk. Okay, so this one is, I find this one really funny. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's also really funny as well. So Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, joined the NHL and in 1946. He joined the NHL before Bobby Orr was born. Bobby Orr was born in 1948, okay? So 1946, Gordie Howe joins the NHL. 1948, Bobby Orr was born. In that time, Bobby Orr was born, joined the NHL, and retired from hockey and was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And a year after Bobby Orr was inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame, that's when Gordie Howe retired. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, yeah. Like, I didn't even know that stat at all either.
Yeah.
Because Gordie Howe played, I don't know how long, but he played a long time.
So Gordie Howe played in the NHL from 1946 to 1980. And like I said, it's kind of unfortunate because Bobby Orr, he had to retire early because of injuries. But it's the fact that Gordie Howe joined the NHL before Bobby Orr was born. And then Bobby Orr was born, played out his career, retired, and then Gordie Howe retired. That blows my mind. Let's go back real quick to Wayne Gretzky, Bee Rhodes. If Wayne Gretzky played every single game of the next 16 seasons and never registered a single point again, his points per game would still not dip below 1 point per game.
Yeah, that's actually an insane stat.
That is crazy. So if we take 16 seasons, that's 1,312 games to play without a single point, and he still would be a point per game player.
Can I throw one more stat in there since we're on the topic about it? So if Wayne Gretzky never scored a single NHL goal, he would still be the all-time points leader in the NHL as well, which is still another crazy thing to think about.
That's something berserk. The fact that this man doesn't, if he was strictly assists, there would still be no NHL player that would be ahead of him in points. That's crazy. That's, like I said, we seem to undermine how dominant Wayne Gretzky truly was sometimes. Okay, I got one more stat for you. Nathan Horton, good old Nathan Horton, scored a goal in a game with 0 seconds of time on ice. Did you know that?
I think so, because didn't he get a puck off the head or something like that?
Nope.
Or I can't remember what happened.
So how it worked was Nathan Horton was playing on, I believe it was Florida. They were playing against Dallas. And he scored the first goal of the game to go up 1-0. And I know you're already everyone's questioning right now, well, you just told me he never played. Well, here's how it happened. That was the same game that Rich Peverly collapsed. Now, because of that medical issue, they decided to postpone the game. They called off the rest of the game, postponed it. Then, when they rescheduled the game, they decided that they were going to play out the full 60 minutes, but they were going to start the game at 1-0. They felt that was the fair way to continue the game since Florida was already ahead. They were going to play out the whole game again, but Florida was going to start the game with a 1-0 lead. Now, in just the most ironic circumstance ever, Nathan Horton was injured and missed that rescheduled game. So therefore, if you look at the stat sheet of that game, Nathan Horton had 1 goal with 0 seconds of time on ice.
Yeah, that is a crazy stat to think about. Actually, I definitely didn't know about it because obviously what I thought happened to him. But yeah, that's a pretty cool stat for sure.
Yeah, we've seen situations where like players have scored goals when they're on the bench, but the fact that Nathan Horton scored a goal without ever stepping on the ice, that's pretty funny, I think. I have one more stat that just came up actually. The Vancouver Canucks finally won a game this year. They just beat the Seattle Kraken 5-4. So, Vancouver on the board. All right, Bee Rhodes, this has been a really fun episode. It's kind of gone on a little bit long, but I'm glad we were able to sit down, chat some hockey, have some fun, talk about the new jerseys, talk about some fun stats, all that good stuff. Anything you'd like to say before we go?
Detroit and Chicago, do better, man.
Do
That's
better.
all I gotta say.
Absolutely. If you guys enjoyed the episode, make sure to stay tuned as we upload an episode weekly over on Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and on YouTube. Make sure to check out our Twitter as well, as we will keep you up to date with all the news on our episodes at TCP_show. Make sure to check out my Twitter as well at your boy Zuu. That's Zuu, Z-U-U. And check out Bee Rhodes' Twitter as well at BrodyMac97. We appreciate every single one of you for listening to the Cherry Pickers podcast and hope you have a great rest of your day and or night.